I recently purchased this Fisher-Price RC car, and I want to go over what I believe are the best ages for this car. Now, the controls are going to be relatively basic, so you'll simply just have forward, backward, left, and right. Really easy for you to use. And on the box, they do recommend ages 3 and up. However, I kind of feel that's a bit on the high side. I really feel like younger kids could have fun with this, which is why I end up purchasing it. I'm going to be giving it to a nephew who is 2, and I feel like as a 2-year-old, he'll be able to understand this concept and he can kind of grow into it over time, right? If you get it to someone who's 3, they might be done playing with this by the time they're 4. They want something that's a little bit bigger, a little bit faster, those sorts of things. Whereas if I feel like if you give it to someone on the younger end, 2-ish, they should still be able to control it because it's quite simply just forward, backwards, left, right. Like, and even just pushing left or right, it still turns left and right without without you having to also push forward at the same time. You can kind of see that. And then the same thing on that. I'm just doing it by pushing forward and then by pushing backwards, right? So if I want it to go backwards, I can also do that there. So I feel like lower in the end of the age range, I'd probably do a 2-year-old, which is who I purchased it for, even though Fisher-Price recommends ages 3 and up. Upper end of the age range is really going to be probably 4 or 5, somewhere in that range. Kids older than that are going to want something that can move faster, that they can play with outside, in the backyard, those sorts of things. This thing is just not going to move really fast. So I would say a 4 or 5-year-old is probably going to be the upper end of the age range, depending on the kid, of course. Some kids, or maybe they've never had a remote control car before. You give this to them as a 5-year-old, they might play with it till they're 6. But if you give this to someone when they're 2, maybe even 3, by the time they're 5-ish, I'm going to say they're going to want to be using something that's faster. They can play with outside, those sorts of details. So best age range for this, I would really say would be somewhere in the ballpark between 2 and 5 years old, in my opinion. So, but overall, it's definitely a really cool little remote control car from Fisher-Price.